everybody. Yes, there's a plane flying overhead right now. So it is Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. So every once in a while I like to go live outside just because I think it's pretty. And I especially love Texas weather like we're having right now. So it's beautiful and it's not too hot just yet. And so I am going to try to be brief. Every time I go live, I try to be brief, but for some reason I have a hard time being brief, but we're going to try today. So today, my topic is evolve or repeat. So I recently posted some new content in my Fit and Free in 90-day curriculum program course, and the lesson is evolve or repeat. And so what I identify is that in life, we are always hopefully we're always in a process of evolution. We're always in a process of becoming a better version of ourselves. We're always in a process of maturing to the next level. And but many of us hit what seem to be consistent negative cycles, areas in our life where we hit up against the very same issues that we can't seem to press past. And usually when that happens, not always, but probably about 95% of the time, it's because there's something that we haven't addressed. So today I want to talk about you either are going to evolve or repeat. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So today I am going to share some really important information with you at the end of this video, but for right now I'm going to give you a plethora of examples. So have you ever known someone who, let's say they were, I don't know, they had $25,000 of credit card debt and they just can't seem to get out of debt. And so they're constantly either looking for a second job or a better paying job, but they keep running into the same problem over and over again. Well, more than likely it is because they have entered into a negative cycle in their life where they just keep repeating the same negative behaviors, so they get the same negative circumstances, okay? So the reality is, if they don't deal with their tendency to overspend, their tendency to live beyond, the means of their income, their tendency maybe to not trust God to meet their financial needs, whatever those things are, they just kind of keep revolving in the same negative cycle. This could happen in relationships. I'm going to give you an example. Actually, this one is going to be from my own life. I happen to know several women, and I was one of them, that were in toxic, abusive relationships. And although I was not responsible for the abuse that I incurred, the reality is, at the end of the day, when I really admitted it, I was responsible for being in the position that I was in to even be in a relationship with someone who treated me in a toxic or abusive way. Yeah, that one was a hard one for me to come to. So the reality is that early on in both of those relationships, there were red flags. Like, I knew that something was wrong. I couldn't tell you exactly what was wrong, but I knew something was wrong. There were ways in which that person, spoke to me or treated me in ways that just necessarily weren't the most respectful. And that paved the way for the toxicity or the abuse to eventually happen. So if I had been listening to my intuition, if I'd been listening to God, but the problem is that sometimes we are trying to satisfy a temporary, whether it's a temporary need or a long-term need, we're trying to satisfy something, and we put ourselves in a position where we begin to spiral downward. And so at the end of both of those relationships, I had to come to the place where I actually took responsibility for the fact that I had, whether I realized it at the time or not, I had willingly put myself in both of those situations. Maybe I wasn't responsible for how the person treated me, but I was responsible for the fact that I was there. Okay? All right. So this can be true in relationships. This can be true in your career. This can be true in your finances. And of course, my specialty is health and wellness. This is definitely true in our health and wellness. So I have been coaching weight loss clients for over 10 years. The reason I started coaching weight loss clients is because I was the one that needed it. So if you don't know my story, I once weighed over 250 pounds. I wore a size 26 pants. And as you can see now, I vacillate between a 10 and a 12, which is pretty awesome. I would really love to be at a 10. But I had to come to the point where I needed answers so badly that I was willing to say, okay, God, what is it in me? Because I tried everything. What is it in me that needs to change? Because something in me needs to change. And when I began to ask God, what is there in me that needs to change? He began to reveal thing after thing after thing after thing that I hadn't really wanted to accept needed to change. And so in most cases, so in the last 10 years of coaching weight loss clients, I can honestly say that I have only come across maybe 5% of the people that I have consulted literally had a physical condition that I was not professionally prepared to help them with. That in most cases, it was a situation where I needed to send them to a specialist that could address this particular medical issue in their physiology. Like that was the reason for their being obese or overweight. Like it was something that I could not help and coach them with through lifestyle changes. But I can say that has only happened about 5% of the time. So I remember one time I was coaching a client that I have wanted to work with for years and years and years. And I have known her for over 25 years. And she started saying to me, she's like, well, Dawn, she's like, I know that the real problem is, I'm just getting older. My metabolism has slowed down. I'm aging, my hormones aren't great or whatever. And I didn't say this, but what I wanted to say was, I've known you for almost 30 years. You've been 50 pounds overweight for the entire time that I've known you. So now that you are 30 years older than when I first met you, and you're still carrying an extra 50 or 60 pounds, you can't blame it on your metabolism or your hormones or your age, because when I met you, you were 50 to 60 pounds overweight. Now, I share this with you guys as a form of encouragement, because there are so many ways in our lives that we want to not take responsibility for how we have contributed to the negative cycles in our life, okay? And so it doesn't matter what, hi Hannah, how are you? Nice to see you. So it doesn't matter where the negative cycle is, whether it's in your finances, your relationships, your career, your health, it doesn't matter where it is. More than likely, there is a solution that you can find and you can work through. So here is your encouragement. There's 3 or 4 things that I want to recommend to you. Number 1, be willing to take a long, hard look at yourself and either ask yourself or ask God, Lord, how have I contributed to this particular situation? Because I don't want to walk in this negative. I don't want to repeat this cycle. If I don't figure out what's wrong, the reality is I'm going to keep repeating this negative cycle until I die. And my question is, do you want to evolve or do you want to repeat? If you want to evolve, then you have to take some drastic steps to evolve. So the first one is, in my opinion, is introspection. Ask yourself or ask your God, God, where do I need to change? Okay? Now the reality is 9 times out of 10, you know where you need to change. You either don't want to change, or you don't want to put in the commitment to change, or you don't want to put in the commitment of the longevity of the journey of the process to get to that place of evolution. And trust me, I deal with this every day with people that I coach in weight loss. They know, like, we will sit down and we will literally identify what the issues are, but then when they're tested in those areas, they really don't want to press through. Okay, all right, so the first thing is introspection. Find out where the problem is. Be willing to take responsibility for how you have contributed to your own negative cycle. Number 2, find somebody that can help you. Because if you've been in the same negative cycle in whatever area it is of your life, more than likely you don't know how to get out of it by yourself, because you wouldn't continue to be in that situation if you knew how to fix it yourself. So find somebody, find a resource, find a person, find an agency, find something that can help you, that will give you the direction and the support that you need, okay? Number 3, be willing to face your giants. in a process of maturity, in a process of growth, it doesn't matter what area of life it's in, there are going to be things that you have to face, you have to tackle, you have to face head on, and you have to be willing to keep facing them head on until you have gained victory. Now, that process of facing them head on and continuing to face them head on is all determined on your mental and emotional fortitude. And in most cases, as human beings, we have not strengthened our mental faculties nor our emotional faculties to be able to press through long enough to reach that place of victory. Okay, and then number 4, be willing to commit to the journey. So there's something that I'm going through, that I've been going through for about 2.5 years now. I still don't have answers. I've been crying out to God, and I have done everything that I've just recommended to you. I've said, God, how have I contributed to this? Where am I? Where do I need to take responsibility? And the only thing that I can discern at this point, that this is simply a walk of faith for me. But there are a few things that God has shown me along the way that I needed to take responsibility for, and I have. And some of them were a little bit scary. And so I had to keep facing them until that fear no longer was there. All right, so the process or the journey that it takes for you to evolve from point A to B to C to D, wherever that is, it is a journey. It is a process. And it's probably not going to happen overnight. And if you really want to change, if you really don't want to repeat the same negative junk, like you don't want to look at yourself 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and you're still experiencing the same junk in the same areas of your life, then you have to be willing to commit to the process. And committing to the process, let me say, it is not like superhuman people that are able to find victory in certain areas of their life. It's not like some of us are just stronger than others. It's not like some of us are just more gifted or more talented or more intelligent than others. The reality is, some of us in our culture have simply learned how to press through. Some of us have learned that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to purchase whichever resources I need to purchase. I'm willing to enlist whatever help I need to enlist. I'm willing to face whatever demons I need to face, either external or internal. I'm willing to build and fortify my mental and my emotional stability to the place where I know that I can handle this, and I'm willing to stay on this process long enough until I see victory. Okay, so in the area of health and wellness and weight loss, this happens to be my specialty, because I used to be one of those that looked to every other reason around me as to why I was overweight. I wasn't accepting responsibility for the choices that I made, and then even after I did, I didn't have the mental strength, I didn't have the emotional strength, I didn't have the stamina to keep pressing through and keep fighting them until I gained victory. But something happened along the way, and I said, oh, no. I'm not repeating this negative cycle anymore. I don't care if it takes me 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to find victory in this area of my life. And I have. And because I have, I can help you through the same thing. So I did share this for 2 reasons. Number 1, I just wanted to be an encouragement to you guys today. And number 2, I am running a special on 2 of my programs. One of them is a mobile personal training program that I run here in the North Dallas area. And the other one is my Fit and Free in 90 days, which literally is a way of completely rewiring yourself from the inside out so that you reach your health and wellness goals without using external forms of self-control. In other words, I am not going to encourage you to use an appetite suppressant, a carb inhibitor, nor a fat burner. I believe that once we eat consistently healthy and long enough, our body begins to heal itself, our metabolism begins to restore itself. And I can say that of myself, I am almost a certain mile marker in age, and you would not know it by looking at me. You would not know it by the energy that I have. All right, so I am going to put, when I finish publishing this video, I'm going to publish a, in the description of the video, I will put, what do you call it? I'll put my website link. There you go. Or if you have any questions, just place a comment on this video and I will make certain to respond. But this is your encouragement today. Stop repeating. You only have two options. You're either going to evolve or you're going to repeat. Which do you want? I hope that you choose to evolve. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a lovely day. By the way, happy Cinco de Mayo.